Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome back to 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. Shall we continue? Oh, me? Seven's story of being abducted seemed to lack the detail of the others. Yeah, well, mine was just like the rest of yours. That was all he had said. It had occurred to Junpei at the time that it sounded somewhat strange, but he didn't press the issue. He hadn't done so because there was something that struck him as even stranger. That was the mystery of the relationship between Snake and Clover. Well, I like that it cut back a little bit so we can do kind of a previously on 999. But for some reason, they had been abducted from the same room and woken up in the same room. Junpei looked at them, thoughtful. So what's the deal with the two of you, anyway? It was Clover that answered. Clearly, she felt she had nothing to hide. Come on. How's it go? All right. We're siblings. Siblings? Yes. Snake is my older brother, obviously. That means I'm his little sister. That really so hard to understand? Junpei was taken aback. The others seemed just as surprised. She is correct, of course. He laid his hand on Clover's shoulder. Are you surprised? Well, yeah, but why? There are other people here with connections to one another. Those two, for instance. Snake pointed at Junpei and June. Oh, you mean between Jumpy and me? Ah, yes. You did say you were childhood friends, didn't you? You went to school together? Yeah. June glanced at Junpei, uncomfortable with the sudden attention. Junpei felt somewhat nervous as well and tried to scratch his head as casually as possible. Hey, you think maybe we could figure out who Zero is, by the way? Wait. Hey, you think maybe we could figure out who Zero is this way? Yeah, you're right. You connect the dots between the victims, and that leads you to the perp. Textbook. Textbook stuff. Junpei, June, does any of this ring a bell? Ring a bell? Ring a bell? They looked at one another, and like it was staged, they both tilted their neck at the same time. Well, perhaps you went to school with the son of a multimillionaire. A millionaire? Son? Well, someone bought this boat and set up all of this. Whoever Zero is, they must be incredibly rich. Well, we can't be sure of that. To me, this seems as though it's the work of an organization, not an individual. Zero is most likely simply the representative of a larger group. What sort of organization? It could be a number of things. An army, perhaps, or a research group. Perhaps this is all some sort of psychological experiment. If it is, then it's a pretty fucked up experiment. I mean, come on, a guy's dead. The word dead hung in the air, heavy and ominous. The room went quiet again. I don't know who this Zero asshole is, but I know for sure he's gotta be pretty fucked up in the head to do all this. If this was all one guy, then he's got some serious issues. Even with the specter of death hanging over them, their discussions continued for some time. In the end, however, they learned nothing. By the time they finished, 1.5 of their 9 hours were gone. All they had to show for it was impatience. Man, look, we only got 7.5 hours left, okay? You really sure you want to just sit around? No one was willing to argue this time. Very well then. There's only one way for us to proceed. Sure not gonna be fun running around knowing we gotta jump when 0 says. We gotta jump when 0 says jump, which is to say. Well, it's stupid to just sit around here doing nothing. Thanks to Snake's card, at least we have some idea of how all this works. Correct. And so long as we follow the rules, we will most likely be alright. But what? Who's going to go in which door? June looked toward the numbered doors. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't have any more than 5 people in one door. All 8 of us can't go in the same door. Then it would seem we will have to split up. Wait! Lotus looked terrified. I'm telling you now, there is no way in hell that I'm going into door 5. Come now, don't be selfish. Call me whatever the hell you want, I'm not going in there. If I'm going to have to walk through all that blood, then I'd rather stay here. Ugh. And we were doing so well. Ace shook his head sadly. Sorry, but I ain't going in there either. Someone else can go into door 5. Oh, Santa, not you too. Hey man, I just bought these shoes. If you think I'm getting some creepy dude's blood all over him, you got another think coming. Put that one, sing it. You got another think coming. Write it down. That was the last straw. What the hell, man? Weren't you the one who kept saying we should get going? Yeah. So? Doesn't mean I wanted to go into door 5. Oh, God. There was an awkward silence. Finally, 7 spoke. Fine. I'll go into door 5. I can't go in there alone, though. Anyone else willing to come with me? There was another long silence. This time, Snake was the one to break it. I'll go. What? Don't worry, you'll be fine. We may part now, but I'm certain we'll meet again later. How do you know that? Because I do. That's not an answer. If you're going, I'm going too. I'm going into door 5. What am I going to do with you? There's nothing you have to do. Ace stepped forward. If I join you, the problem is solved, correct? 7 is 7, Snake is 2, and if you add Clover's 4 and my 1, the digital root will be 5. 7 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. He's right. Oh, it works perfectly. The 4 of us can go into door 5. Wait. What about the other 4? What's their digital root gonna be? Junpei did a quick mental calculation. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei remained. Their bracelet numbers were 8, 3, 6, and 5. 8, 3, 6, 5. What would their digital root be? Good thing I have a calculator, right? 8, 3, 6, 5. Digital root would be 4. Isn't that convenient? 22. 2 plus 2 is 4. He repeated what he'd determined. It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet numbers, and the digital root is 4. And we can go into door 4. Yeah. Huh. That worked out well. Junpei ran over the team assignments in his head one more time. 4 people would go into door 5. 7, Snake, Clover, and Ace. 4 people would go into door 4. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei. Junpei had to ask himself if the teams were what he really wanted. Beyond door 5 was what remained of the 9th man. He never wanted to see that thing again. But something in him said it would be unwise not to examine the corpse even a little closer. Of course, if he went through door 5, he wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa. True, it would be possible for him to bring June with him through door 5. That would mean she would have to see the horrific carnage that waited there. Junpei didn't want that. Junpei was torn. Should he stay silent and go through door 4? Or should he stop them all and insist on door 5? He turned his options over and over in his mind. Ace spoke up. All right then. Seems we've reached a conclusion. Shall we go? He began to walk toward door 5. Clover and Snake followed, with 7 a short distance behind. Junpei, which door do you want to go through? I'm gonna go along with it. I don't want to see that body again either. I decided that door 4 would be fine. He would go through door 4 with Lotus, Santa, and June. Why had Junpei even considered doing otherwise? He would be there for June, for Akane, for Ashiko. That seemed good. He felt it was the right choice to make. He made no shows of affection, but Junpei saw her as something more than just a friend from his childhood. He watched the other 4 walk toward their door. Ace, Snake, Clover, and 7. Junpei said nothing as they left. Before long, they had reached door 5. They talked to one another for a few seconds, saying things Junpei couldn't hear, and then laid their hands one by one on the scanner panel of the red. Ace grabbed the lever, his face tight with determination. He turned over his shoulder to look at Junpei and his companions. Goodbye. Be careful. As Ace pulled the lever, the door swung open, the mouth of a great hungry beast. Beyond the door, Junpei knew, lay the sad remains of the 9th man. It did not surprise him that Ace, Clover, and 7 hesitated. The body was not a pleasant thing. Snake had no such problems, as his blindness made him immune to the horror. He stepped through the door, his feet making a wet splack in the pool of blood. Do you intend to kill me? I assume you haven't forgotten the door only remains open for 9 seconds, have you? Snake had not even bothered to turn around, but the other 3 steeled themselves and stepped through the door. I need to say something. There's a really satisfying tactility to this game. And I don't just mean like the physical sounds and the way the doors open and shut, but like it's not specific to this game. I've seen it in a lot of anime. I've seen it in a lot of other kinds of fiction. Like it's the Last of Us thing that like you have where you are and you have where you need to get, but you don't get there just by going there. You get there by having to look at and see every door, every wall, every step you're taking. All of these little bits of things add up to the eventual decision that you have to make, and you have to consider every single one of them, because that's the game. That's how all of these things work. It's not just a show you're watching. It's like a huge stack of problems and decisions, and it gets me high. Door 5 swung shut, closing with the heavy finality of metal upon metal. Junpei and his companions scrambled to the door. They pressed their ears to it in an attempt to hear what might be taking place on the other side. It's beeping. It's just like before. Probably the sound of the detonator on the bracelet. Do you think they're okay? June's face showed her concern more plainly than her words ever could, almost as though in response to her question, a voice rang out from the other side of the door. It was 7. Hey, there it is! That's gotta be that dead thing. Come on, get over here, we gotta authenticate. The beeping stopped. The sighs of relief were audible even through the heavy door. Phew, looks like it stopped. Junpei and his companions leaned away from the door and breathed a collective sigh of relief of their own. Hey guys, are you doing all right over there? They'd heard Seven's voice, but it wouldn't hurt to be sure. Yep, we're fine. Despite the recent danger, Clover's voice was as bubbly as ever. Oh, hey, I'm gonna tell you about this whole dead thing, okay? The dead is just like the red, but the color's different. You know how the red was red? Well, the dead is blue. Other than that, it's just like the red. Authenticating is the same too. Awesome, thanks, that helps a lot. Well, we should probably move on now. You be careful out there. Roger that. Junpei and the others left door 5 and headed toward door 4. Don't freak out. I'm not going to quit, but I am going to save. This is something that we used to have to do in the old world, in the before times, in the long, long ago. You'd have to save your game often, because it wouldn't save it for you. Junpei and the others left door 5 and headed toward door 4. They stood in front of the red and placed each of their hands upon it. Four asterisks appeared on the screen. Junpei grabbed the lever and turned around. You guys ready? Yeah. Sure. Let's go. None of them looked particularly optimistic, but their faces were set. Junpei nodded to them and turned back toward the red. All right, let's go. With strength and determination, he pulled the lever. Run! 4 of them leapt through the door together. The moment they had passed through it, each heard a cold electronic sound coming from their left wrist. In the center of each bracelet, a red skull appeared and began to flash. The detonator's countdown had begun. In the long moment that each of them spent staring at their wrists, the numbered door behind them closed, the sound of metal on metal reverberating down the hallway. There was no way back now. They were committed. If they could not find the device to deactivate their detonators. Hey, where the hell is the dead? How would I know? Don't give me that crap. Start looking. I already am. They began to run, eyes looking frantically for the device that was the key to their salvation. The hallway they found themselves running down was a long one, easily 300 feet in length. On the right side of it stood a series of wooden doors, all nearly identical. If they had taken time to think, they would likely have discerned that the doors lead to cabins. Don't tell me the dead is in one of those rooms. Oh no. How many rooms do you think there are? Junpei was too frightened to count properly, but at his best guess, there were 7 or 8 of them. Ah, fuck. There wasn't time to count them to be sure. Junpei ran to the nearest door. He grabbed the knob and shook it hard. It wouldn't open. It didn't feel locked, more like someone had hammered an iron plate over the other side of the door. Junpei turned around to find another door and saw that his companions had already run to doors of their own. They did not seem to be having any more success than he had. Their own words confirmed his fears. Shit! This one's no good! Same here! It's not moving! June was the last to speak up. As Junpei looked in her direction, his eye caught something he hadn't noticed before. A small, red light. It flashed at him dimly from the end of the hallway. That's it! Over there! Even as he yelled, he ran. He grabbed Santa, Lotus, and June and pulled them toward the light. Santa called out to them as he ran. Hey, how many more seconds do we have? How would I know? Our time limit is 81 seconds. I know that, goddammit. I'm asking you how many seconds we have left. In all likelihood, Junpei figured nearly a minute had already passed since the door had closed behind them. That was true. Urgency foremost in all of their minds, they arrived at the end of the hallway. The dead sat on the left wall, blinking almost tauntingly at them. Hurry! Junpei grabbed hold of the machine, his hands slick with sweat and shaking. He slammed his hand against the scanner panel. The other three quickly followed suit. With a grunt, Santa yanked the lever downward. I want to come back to that tactility thing. It shows you every time any one of them does anything. Every time they scan, it shows you each one of them who scanned. And it starts to build up. So I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I did play this game like 7 years ago. And I've forgotten almost all of it. Period. What I think it builds up to, though, is like, be watching for things that it shows you when they do it, and things when your mind fills in that they must have done it. It's one of those things where if you can't see it happening for yourself, you maybe should doubt that it happened at all. And that tactility does a lot to ingrain that in your mind. Everything in this game matters. Even these 3 pants. Hot pants. From before. Phew. Looks like it stopped. His hands beginning to steady. Junpei wiped away some of the sweat that had beaded on his forehead. As they caught their breath, the 4 companions began to look around. At the end of the hallway lay a heavy-looking set of double doors. Set into the walls of the hallway on either side of the larger door were 2 smaller ones. They all needed inspecting, but Junpei began with the largest of the 3, the double doors. How many times had he come across similar doors with similar results, he wondered. Or perhaps, he corrected himself, more a lack of results. Whatever the reason, the door remained firm and unyielding and refused to allow Junpei or anyone else passage. Near the handle was a small keyhole. Above the keyhole was a small symbol engraved in the brass. Mail. He wasn't quite sure what to make of it and stared at it for a moment in confusion. It was June that corrected him. No, that's not the symbol for mail. That's probably the symbol of Mars. Well, technically, they are the same symbol, but I saw a number of similar symbols near the main stairway. The symbols of the solar system. The Sun, Saturn, the Earth. At least, that's what I'm assuming. So this isn't the man symbol, it's a symbol for Mars? I think so, yes. While Junpei and June talked, Santa had disappeared. They turned to find him some distance down the hallway. He had gone to check the other doors. Eventually, he reached the last of them and jogged back. It took him only a moment to catch his breath again. Here's the deal. None of the other doors open. Then that must mean we only have 2 more doors. Lotus examined the doors on either side of the larger double door. Each one had a metal plate attached to it. Junpei figured they were probably room numbers, B92, B93. Door on the left read B92, door on the right, B93. All right, let's open them. Yeah. Junpei put his hand on the doorknob for the door that said 92. Santa moved to the door marked room 93. They'd made it through the numbered door alive. There was nothing more to be afraid of. Junpei and Santa looked at each other and nodded. 1, 2, 3. In unison, They pushed against their respective doors and promptly found themselves in a new room. June followed Junpei as he threw open his door. They turned around and saw that the door on the other side was open as well. Through the door was another person, his mouth agape. It was Santa. Hey, it opened. Yeah, it did. Junpei and Santa looked at each other. They had not expected the doors to yield so easily. Lotus's calm voice broke into their thoughts. Maybe this is all part of Zero's plan. I can't say I enjoy being treated like someone's puppet. As she headed for room 93, Lotus continued. Well, now we have these two rooms. I'm sure there's something in there that will help us. Something that will help us get out of here. Let's find it. Santa and I will search this room. Junpei and June, search the other one. All right. Okay. Okay. New room, same goal. Jumpy, where are you going? I was thinking of going over to Lotus's room. Do you think maybe you could look around here a little more before you go? Okay, so that's the exit door that I came in. That vase looks expensive. Wonder how much we could get for it. Are you gonna steal it? This is kind of a weird looking picture. Do you think it's an abstract painting or something? It looks kind of like a demon with an elephant-like nose, sucking on a human being's brain. Where the hell did that come from? What's her brain made of? Can't say I'd mind finding out a little more about what goes on in there. Matches. Box of matches. There are matches inside, obviously. Also, when you have someone exploring with you, they describe it instead of you having to describe it yourself. That's nice. Junpei looked down blankly at what he was holding, then up at June. Oh yeah, how's your fever? You feeling better now? Yes, I'm feeling fine. June certainly looked fine. Junpei held his hand out on her forehead for a few seconds. It seemed her fever really had gone down. Are you worried about me? Oh, come on. What else am I gonna do? Yeah. I guess I am. June blushed and giggled. By the way, Jumpy? How did you end up here? What do you mean? I told you earlier, didn't I? There was a man with a gas mask when you got home at night. You inhaled some white smoke and passed out. When you woke up, you were on D-Deck. Yeah, that's it. But is that really the truth? What? Jumpy, are you hiding something from me? No. Why would I? Well, if you think about it, this is awfully suspicious. I mean, why would two childhood friends bump into each other in a place like this? Hey, I can ask you the same thing. Are you hiding something? What would I hide? Well, I don't know, anything. I mean, you're hiding it, how would I know? You mean like the number of men I've dated? Junpei's heart stumbled over itself. Do you want to know? He had to admit he was a little curious. Don't worry. She smiled at him. Only 18. Times 0. Yeah, I guess I just haven't met Mr. Right yet. June looked a little embarrassed and scratched the back of her head in a desperate attempt to seem nonchalant. Junpei coughed quietly in much the same way. Anyway, I'm not hiding anything. Just like you, Jumpy. When I woke up, I was on D-Deck. Well, you do have a point. I mean, why did Zero pick us? We haven't seen each other since elementary school. June nodded, and for a few moments she had the faraway look of someone in deep thought. Look for what connects the victims. That will lead you to the culprit. You remember Seven saying something like that? Yeah, I do. So? Well, that's what I'm saying. I think this must all have something to do with a classmate of ours. You got any ideas who it might be? No, nothing. Oh. Well, if it had something to do with school, then it could be one of our teachers, or maybe the principal, or the janitor, or the lunch lady. No, I can barely remember any of them. Yeah, I know. Junpei went back to searching, feeling unpleasant and confused. Elementary school. Elementary school. Is there anything strange that had happened in elementary school? As he searched the room, he continued to rack his brain. The display case. There's nothing being displayed. How sad. Ah. We don't have the time to be relaxing on a sofa. We do have time for you to tease me about how many guys you've snogged? Okay, so like it's a suite. That was the sort of sitting area, and now I'm in the bedroom. Light blue blanket with some designs on it. Someone made the bed, or at least onion. Two pillows right next to each other. Guess it's a double. Huh? What's up? You're turning red. Oh man, is her fever back? Oh, Junpei, you prude. Do you need to lay down for a minute? I'm fine. I think it's still a little early for that. Huh? Hey, seriously, are you really okay? Oh boy. It's a bottle with water in it. This is a bedroom. They probably have it here because your throat always feels dry when you wake up, you know? My throat's dry, but I think that's because I'm a little nervous right now. Well, we did run a lot, so we're kind of sweaty. Hey, Jumpy, did you want to take a shower together? Whoa! Just kidding. Too late to take it back. My brain's already working out the picture. My throat was dry already. This sure isn't helping. What a horny little game. This isn't a painting. It's a... Is it a map? It looks like a map of the ship's interior. Oh, this is a great find. I think it'll be really useful. Let's take it with us. It is now possible to use the map screen. What's the map screen? Is it exactly what I think it is? The map screen can only be viewed during the story session. Entirely different in function from the bird's eye view mode. You can examine a map of the ship's floor plan, which you will require over the course of the story. Touch the menu to open the menu. If you touch map while in the menu, you can open the map screen. While there, you can scroll around the floor plan with the control pad stylus. Touching the green parts of the floor plan will allow you to see the bird's eye view for that room. But only, I assume, been there. Junpei took one last look at the map, then folded it up and slipped it in his pocket. June looked up as he closed it. This ship is bigger than I thought. Yeah, it's probably about 900 feet long. Must be one of those fancy cruise ships. Of course, it doesn't really look like a cruise ship. Everything in here is really retro. Even if it's some sort of style choice, just too much. Do you remember what Zero said? On April 14th, 1912, the famous ocean liner Titanic crashed into an iceberg. After remaining afloat for 2 hours and 40 minutes, it sank beneath the waters of the North Atlantic. Do you think maybe this boat and the Titanic have something to do with each other? That's a good point. I doubt he would have mentioned it if there wasn't a reason. Junpei took a moment to look around the room. Do you think this boat is a replica of the Titanic? A replica? Yeah, like a copy of the actual boat. Who on earth would make something like that? Fans? Crazy Titanic fans? No way! Do you even know how much money that would take? No idea. But all they've got to do is break even. Break even? Yeah. They could use it as a cruise ship. Climb aboard a piece of history, sail around the world in the resurrected Titanic. Hell, with marketing like that, they'd probably have more customers than they'd know what to do with. Do you really think people would want to ride on a ship with such an ominous past? It's the site of the worst accident in history. Over 1,500 people died. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd get cursed just for going. A curse, huh? Jumpy, do you believe in that sort of thing? Curses and stuff? What's my deal? What do I think my deal is? Do I believe in curses? I do. Yeah, well, I guess so, to a certain extent. Junpei scratched his temple. What about you? No, I guess that's kind of a dumb question. Yes, I do believe in curses. In fact, I think it was a curse that sunk the Titanic. What? A curse sank the Titanic. The curse of the Egyptian mummy. Junpei couldn't understand how June had maintained a straight face to say that. Supposedly, the Titanic carried the mummy of the priestess Amun-Ra, which was stolen from a pyramid. And they say that the mummy had a history. Here we go. Here's what I'm talking about. This game does this. Here's just a bunch of shit that we know. Everyone involved with it died mysterious deaths. Come on, I'm sure you've heard of it before. Those who open the coffin will be forever cursed. Haven't you ever heard that? So you're saying the Titanic sunk because of that curse? That's right. June's eyes had lit up with excitement like a child with a new toy. That mummy, the priestess, supposedly she was special. What do you mean? Well, supposedly she was really pretty. Pretty? Yes. But she was a mummy. That's right. She wasn't all shriveled up or rotten or anything. She looked just like she was alive. Oh, I get it. It's that thing, I don't remember the name, where your body turns into some kind of wax. The dead body is put in the right sort of environment. The fat in it turns into something kind of like candle wax, right? And yes, saponification. But that's not what it was. Huh? That's not it. She wasn't wax. Then what is it? They say that she was frozen. What? Frozen. That's right. The whole body was frozen solid. You know how a human body is more than 60% water? Well, all of that water was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic, and even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted. June and Junpei talked a little more and then went back to their investigation. But even as they did, his mind went back to what she'd told him. Ice that wouldn't melt, even in the desert. Could such a thing really exist? No, even if it did, it wouldn't really be ice anymore, would it? The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. Like he'd eaten ice cream too fast. Well, back to it. A wooden cupboard. There are cups inside, surprising no one. Aha! A key. You think it's the key to the dresser? Wait, that was the dresser. I got that key out of the dresser. And now she's playing with her hair. Does she even realize she's doing that? Hey, we don't have time for that. Come on, it's not like there's anyone here you need to impress. Yes, there is. Who? What? Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? Forget it, Jumpy. Okay. Let's go into... There we go. This room. That's the bathroom wall. There are square tiles all over. There's a little blue platform protruding from the shower wall next to the knob. We're putting soap on. I used a shower once, so I know. Oh my god. Oh, that would have been. Oh. Now let's check the toilet. Tank's empty. There isn't even any water. Well, that's odd. Full and partially depleted rolls of toilet. Someone was well prepared. Yeah, why don't we go back to the living room? And not, take a shower together. I was thinking of going over to Lotus' room. Okay, we can't do that yet. Okay. I am going to check Lotus' room. June's going to stay here, which is terrifying. Off to the other room. Square tile on this frame glued in there. What? Nothing in the toilet, tank's empty. Display case with plates and shit look really expensive. You want to take a look? Damn. Guess this is the wrong key. That means there's got to be another one somewhere around here. Otherwise, we aren't going to be able to open this thing. The room in the back is dark. Are there any lights? Huh? There's a light switch, right? Sweet, I could use some light. Shoot, no dice. If the bulbs are burned out, either that or the electricity to this room was deliberately shut off. I don't really give a crap why it doesn't work. It doesn't work if we can't do shit about it. Way too dark in here to see anything. Going to need some light. If only I could. Candle with a candlestick. This might come in handy. I know. I use these matches to light the candle. Awesome. With the light from the candle, maybe we can take a look around over there. But it gets so hot when I hold it. I want to put it down. Why don't you set it on top of the dresser? It's flat there, at least it won't fall over. Oh yeah, good idea. Hey, it got pretty bright. Now we can look around it. Yeah, I know. Let's see if this works. What? It's a strange design. Is it ceramic? It doesn't look like there are any puzzles in it. Oh, that's not this. Hey, Junpei, it's a cupboard. There's a freaking cupboard in here. You alright? Oh, don't give me that. Come on, a cupboard in a bedroom can only mean there's a safe in here. Really? Damn, there's nothing in here. Got me all worked up for nothing. Are you Inuyasha or what? There's a picture of an old cruise ship. Is it the Titanic? Curtain. A curtain, huh? It's got all these metal rings, probably so you could hang it from something, you know? Doesn't look like a normal curtain. The way it feels, I think it's probably waterproof, which would make this a shower curtain. A shower curtain, huh? Pile of pillows. Huh? Hey, what the hell? It just got dark all of a sudden. Maybe the candle got blown out. We should go see. There's a candlestick covered in melted wax on top of the dresser. The top of the candlestick looks kind of weird. You're right, it's all bumpy. Part of the candlestick where the candle goes looks like a key. I ran into a lock I couldn't open earlier. I think you did too, Santa. I think I was there. It's this one. Let's see if this candlestick key will do anything. Yes. Alright, pull that shit open. Expensive looking vases, expensive looking plates, and this thing. Hey Junpei, you got a minute? Santa had shown up out of nowhere and gave Junpei a small start. Here, take this. Santa pulled something out of his pocket. It looked like a bookmark. It had a 4-leaf clover in it. What is this? I found it in between some of the cushions on the sofa. Pretty sure it ain't gonna be any help to us, but I figured we might as well hang on to it anyway. Then why don't you hold on? Santa gave him a wry smile. You know what I hate most in the world? I got 4 things. Hope, faith, love, and luck. Hope, faith, love, and luck. Damn straight. And you hate this thing. Yeah, you got a problem with that? Not really, but Junpei tried to figure out how best to phrase what he wanted to say. What does a bookmark have to do with any of that? Santa scratched the back of his ear and talked. Well, see, each leaf on the 4-leaf clover has a meaning to it, okay? And that meaning is pretty much those 4 words. It's like a flower language. Well, I guess it's not a flower, is it? So it's a leaf language, I guess. Yeah, you could call them leaf words. Leaf words. Junpei looked at the bookmark. Hope, faith, love, and love. So yeah, I want you to take it, okay? Just touching it gives me the creeps. Take the damn thing, alright? Santa pretended to shiver with disgust and shoved the bookmark into Junpei's confused hand. Junpei... Oh, I'm fucking taking it. Decided to take it. After all, why shouldn't he? Alright, sure, I'll take it. He shoved the thing into his pockets and gave Santa a last confused look. Phew. Man, I feel a lot better now. That thing was a real pain, you know? You really hate those 4 words that much? Yeah, well, they can all betray you, you know? Hope, faith, love, even your destiny. What had happened to Santa, Junpei wondered. How had he become such a bitter person? For a moment, they looked at each other. Well, that's not my only reason. What? That's not the only reason I hate the 4-leaf clover. I just can't bring myself to like the number 4. What, worried about the 4 horsemen? Nah, come on, man, that's just silly. Maybe back in the dark ages that kind of crap scared people, but this is the 21st century, and I'm a 21st century guy. Then why do you hate 4 so much? Because it's a half-ass number. Not the best or the worst. That's why. What? 9 is a way better number. So what if it's the last place, right? At least it's not some lame-ass middle number. Santa's explanation made no sense. Junpei was even more confused than before. You play? Play. You mean like gambling? Yeah, of course. What else would I mean? In Baccarat, the best possible hand totals 9. They call it Le Grand. But the lowest, most worthless cards, the zeros, they call Monkey. Just like the guy in charge of this game, huh? Zero's a monkey. Santa blinked, utterly stunned. Then he began to laugh. Oh man, you're totally right. The guy who trapped us in here sure is one hell of a monkey. That was when Lotus spoke up. You know, if you think about it, the nonnery game is really a lot like Baccarat. Apparently she'd been listening. Of course, it doesn't use any of that stupid digital root junk. You just drop the tens digit and that's it. Still, it does have the same idea of your final number needing to be a single digit. Oh yeah, I guess you got a point. And in both games, whoever has 9 wins. The person who makes 9... Wait, that's me. Person who makes 9 wins. Did you forget already? Don't you remember what Zero said? The exit is hidden, but it is there. Seek the exit. Seek the door that carries a 9. So if we want to get off this boat, we have to make a team whose numbers have the digital root of 9. And only the people in that team are going to make it out alive. Of course. That's why it's called the nonnery game. What? Huh? You don't know? Nonnery means something derived from 9, or base 9. It's derived from the Latin prefix nona, which means 9. While we're at it, the prefix for 1 is uni. You know, like the unicorn, the horse with 1 horn. 2 is bi, like binary. Binary means composed of 2 parts. 3 is tri, I'm sure you've heard that one plenty. Like trio, triple, and triangle. You get the idea. After that, you have quart, quinty, sext, septim, and so on. And of course, prefix for 8 is octo, like octopus. It's called that because it has 8 legs. Get it? I see. This is what I was talking about. Every single idea, even and especially the ones that don't appear to have anything to do with how to play the game, are explained in exactly the same exacting detail. Only crazy people should be allowed to make video games. So then Nona means 9. Lotus nodded. So how many of us are trapped on this ship? That'd be 9. And what are the bracelet numbers we have? They go from 1 to 9. And our time limit? How many hours did we have? Zero said 9 hours. And finally, to get out of the ship, we need to find the door with a 9 that's hidden somewhere in the ship. By making a team with a digital root of 9. Lotus nodded again. And there you have it. The number 9 is everywhere in this game. He's got a real theme of 9s for this whole thing. No wonder it's called the nonnery game. Somewhere far away, Junpei heard the creak of stressed metal. It sounded almost like Zero laughing at them, with a sad, desperate scream of a pig headed to the slaughter. Well, back to the game. Hey, check this out. This is a pretty nice sofa. No, it's a shame I can't take it back with me. Hmm. Curtain rod on the ceiling, eh? Let's hang that shower curtain. Let's try spreading the curtain. Huh? That's a pretty obvious peephole. Somebody's really dedicated. With the hole this big, you gotta wonder if maybe they wanted to be caught. So you're saying the one getting spied on was into that shit? Maybe they were into like those home invasion fantasies. Home invasion? Interesting. I see. You two are real idiots, you know that? Let's try spreading the curtain this way. There's a hole in the curtain. If I look at it from a way back, I can see a single tile. From here I can see what tile it is. Looks like it's 5th from the top and 3rd from the right. I'll put it back. Let's have a closer look. Nothing strange here. Well then that means... What about the other one? Going back already? Can't just leave June there by herself. What, do you think you're her knight or protector or something? You're creeping me out. Whatever, man. I'm going. In the bathroom in Lotus's room, I saw a particular tile when I looked at the hole in the shower. Maybe if I look in the same place over here. Alright, now where was it? 5th one from the top, 3rd one from the right. What are you mumbling about, Jumpy? Oh, sorry. Could you be quiet for a minute? I don't want to forget this. Hmm? Am I not hitting it? Hang on. Well, maybe. I'll try closing it. Shower curtains, huh? No. Now I can see the full expanse of the shower curtain in all its waterproof glory. There's nothing suspicious. Normal old shower curtain. A narrow shower, and I'm standing in it with June. This is awkward. Time to open the curtain. There it is. Yes, this one's loose. I think I can get under this with nails and... Yes! Third one. Do I combine them? Nope. Then I know where to put them. Let me see what I'm doing. Elephant thing. Alright, we'll figure it out. The exit. Lotus and Santa are in the room on the other side. I'm gonna go check up on them. Tile. So I guess I'm supposed to put tiles in the bases. Alright, I'm gonna give it a shot. No. That came together faster than I meant it to. Yes. I did it. Picture complete. And there goes the frame. What's this? What do you mean, what's this? Pretty obvious, isn't it? A hole in the wall. Like a hidden safe or something, you know? Anyway, let's take a look. I think there's something inside. Mars. Junpei messed around a bit with the key he had and looked blankly at the picture that slid down. What's the deal with this picture anyway? Santa had only been mumbling to himself, but it drew Lotus's attention. She looked at the picture. paused. I think I've seen this picture before. Where? In a book. There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather interesting theory. I saw this picture in his book. What's this interesting theory? Morphogenetic field, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance. Man, I can't deal with this. Just listening to you talk about it is giving me a headache. Santa put his hands on his head as though he were in great pain. Lotus merely arched an eyebrow in his direction and continued. It's not a difficult concept to grasp. In essence, he states that the shapes of living organisms and their behavioral patterns are transmitted through a field not visible to the eye. What part of that isn't difficult exactly? Lotus did not look pleased. Alright, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism. Telepathy? Yes, telepathy. Well, perhaps not exactly telepathy, but it is close enough for a simple approximation. Santa suddenly burst into laughter. Ha! Are you serious? Telepathy? Who do you think we are, kids from the 70s? I can't believe someone would actually do serious research on something like that. Yes, I agree. Lotus's response was surprisingly curt. Junpei had expected at least some conflict. I read the book, but I can hardly say I understood it. I'm in no position to defend or condemn anything it said. It was probably just someone latching on to a statistical outlier from some study and turning it into a ridiculous theory. There's no scientific merit to any of it, I'm sure. But even so, Anyway, I saw a picture like that one in this book. Lotus indicated the picture they'd all been looking at. After a moment, she walked up to the strange picture, examined it, and then spoke. Hey, what do you think this picture looks like? Santa answered first. What do you mean? Is it just like abstract or something like that? Just black and white scribbles. There's no meaning there. That's it. What about you, Junpei? Does it look like anything to you? I know what Jerry sees. Yes, it looks like Punyarinpa. I don't know what that is. I am going to find out later. I'll report back. Maybe a dog? See, you've got the head here, and these are the front paws, and these are the back paws. Junpei traced the black contours. Whoa. See? I see it. I guess you've got a point. Santa, despite his constant aloofness, was really impressed. Junpei glanced over at Lotus. She looked stunned. How did you know? You're right. I didn't think you would have been able to guess that. For a brief moment, Junpei felt a swell of pride. So, now we know what it's a picture of, but I don't see how that helps us. Lotus nodded and began to speak. A TV show from Great Britain did an experiment once. They took two similar pictures. Both of them were difficult to identify initially, but once you'd figured out the answer, you couldn't see it as anything else. The first picture was a woman wearing a hat. The other one, well, to make it easier, let's just say it was this picture of a dog. So, their experiment. First, they sent the pictures to other parts of the world where British radio and television didn't reach. To Ireland, the US, Africa, Europe, etc. Then, in each country, they gathered a number of test subjects. All in all, there were roughly 1,000 people. Those 1,000 people were shown the two pictures and asked, what does this picture look like to you? The results, in and of themselves, were not terribly interesting. 99.2% of the people saw the lady in the lady picture. 3.9% saw the dog in the dog picture. Then, 2 days later, they broadcast a new show. During the 30-minute show, they broadcast the dog picture and its solution. The audience was estimated to be 200,000 people. After the broadcast, it could be assumed that the number of people who knew the solution to the dog picture now totaled over 200,000 people. After another 2 days had passed, they gathered a number of research subjects from areas where British TV and radio did not exist. This time, they were only able to find a sample of roughly 850 people. Naturally, none of them were people who had participated in the first test. They were, however, given the same test and the same 2 pictures. The results were shocking. 10% of the people saw the lady in the lady picture. The previous test had yielded a 9.2% success rate. Change was not statistically significant. The dog picture, however, produced a very different result. The percentage of people able to successfully find the dog grew from 3.9 to 6.8%, a very significant increase. So do you understand? Do you realize the significance of this experiment? There was no way the second group could have seen the picture. They lived far away from Britain and couldn't have seen the picture. But even so, it was only the success rate for the dog picture that went up. Why? How did that happen? What does it mean? Lotus looked back and forth from Junpei to Santa and back again. Normally calm and collected, she looked now as though she were very nearly possessed. There was something manic about her manner. Santa took an involuntary step back. Junpei didn't budge and stared straight back into Lotus's eyes. Does this have something to do with that field or whatever it was that you were talking about earlier? A field not visible to the eye? So if more people know the answer, then that information can pass through the field? Psych! Her manner suddenly shifted and Lotus smiled broadly at Junpei and Santa. She waved her hand dismissively, doing her best to laugh the whole confrontation off. Oh, I was just kidding. You really shouldn't take me so seriously. Well, I mean, the things I just told you about are true. They really did happen. But the results of that experiment really aren't anything to go by. They could have easily falsified them. In the end, I'm sure they were just in it for the ratings. They are a TV station after all. At last, it seemed that Santa had gained control of his composure. Right. Man, I gotta admit, you had me there for a minute. I really thought you were serious. Of course not. Like I told you before, I'm sure it's all just pseudoscience. Oh, okay, right. Santa and Lotus laughed and gave one another jovial claps on the shoulder. Junpei, however, didn't feel so much like laughing. Something felt wrong, unclear. All right, enough nonsense. We've got the key, let's get out of here. Word. Lotus and Santa walked away from the picture. Junpei stayed, staring at the picture of the dog. A field not visible to the naked eye. Morphogenetic field. The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. All right, let's go through that door. Okay. Roger that. Oh, wait. It unlocked. Good job, Junpei. Good, now we can get going. Come on, what are you guys standing around for? Let's get out of here. Should get June. Oh, I don't have any reason to go back there. I guess she's with us. Come on, Jumpy, let's go. All right, let's go. Let's open this door. You found it. Now that I've gotten through, you know what it's time for. Save our game. Finished saving. Thanks. for playing, or at least thanks for watching me play. See you next time.